Welcome, guys. We are with Ali here. We're going to cover how to become a luxury real estate agent. Ali, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So let's start about bit of a background story. Like, how did you start as a realtor, and how did you become like a luxury realtor? Like, tell us about your story a little bit.
That's great. I love sharing the story. Everybody's story is always so different. I actually started out in the travel business, and as things started changing with commissions and the internet coming on live, I ended up deciding that I would go into real estate. And I had grown up in this little town that I currently live in and already had all these great travel clients and decided that that would be a really great fit. So got my real estate license, started selling real estate, and with my travel business, I had to kind of level up where I was so that I was setting myself aside from everyone else. So I started niching in my travel. And so I decided with real estate, I would niche in after about 5 years, kind of got the business down, niche into my real estate business. So decided that luxury would be a great niche. And I actually niched even further into the area that I actually live in, grew up in, and was growing and thriving. So it worked out great.
Nice. So let's say like I'm a brand new agent. Like, would you recommend a brand new agent like go right off the bat like into luxury real estate, or wait like a couple of years to like get familiar with everything first?
You know, in the market that we had during COVID, anyone could sell anything. And I think all over the world and all over the country, we're changing and our markets are changing a little bit. So it's not as easy in our business anymore. And I don't recommend a new agent going in and trying to get your first luxury deal. It's risky. There's so much involved, and there's by doing that, they actually take on so much liability. It sounds like a great idea, and it's a great earning at the end, but negotiating, talking to the clients, getting everything put out the way that it should properly put out to either present the home if you're listing or working with the buyers as far as negotiating. Just so many touch points that a new agent wouldn't be prepared for.
Got it. So what would you say is like, approximately like 3, 4, 5 years is usually a good time when like
No, I would say get into the business if you're going to work the business full time and really commit to the business and commit to being a luxury agent, and that's really what you want your niche to be. You want to get a few deals under your belt and you want to take some different courses, and depending on the level of the agent, what they've done in their past, whether if they've done sales, they might need to take some different classes. If it's a brand new agent just not having any work experience, no job force experience, there's a lot more foundation that needs to go in to get them leveled up in order to be able to actually have the capacity to sell luxury.
So what would you say are like the steps then that someone needs to take like once they're ready, right? Once they have like a few deals under their belt and stuff like that. Like, do they just like call themselves luxury agent? Like, how does that work exactly?
I think to answer your last question, yes, you have to have a few deals under your belt, and I'd say depending on your marketplace, probably 5 to 10. Know your market, be experienced, and then from there, while you're starting and going through that process of building those 10 relationships, you're leveling up your branding because that is the most important thing. People land on you and they might hear about you from word of mouth and referrals, but most people, most clients find their agent, if it's not a referral, either online or through some type of marketing source. So as you're leveling up, you need to become a trusted resource for real estate and into that luxury niche eventually. And by having proper branding and proper messaging, you'll be able to level yourself up and easily step across that bridge into the luxury market.
Yeah, great point. So improving your branding, leveling up your branding and your messaging as well. For people watching the video, like, could you talk about like maybe one thing that you've done where like before niching down in the luxury market, like you weren't doing in terms of like your branding or your messaging?
Yes. My branding, everything has to be, it's expensive. Let me start there. So, it's like we get into real estate and we think that it's, a lot of people think that it's just like, especially in Idaho, it's very easy to get your real estate license. And you really need to start and treat it as a business. You're a professional. So you get your photography done, you get messaging done correctly. Maybe you have someone edit your messaging, maybe you go into some professional editing. And as you're going through that process of selling those properties, you're changing your messaging a little bit. You're tightening up, adding a few little more descriptive words, and eventually getting that messaging up so that you are in the luxury space. A lot of it is just messaging and how you present yourself. And the other thing that these clients, whether they're a buyer or a seller, they want people that are going to work hard. And so by showing your work ethic also through your marketing, I think that's another great way to really portray that you are up for the task and you're ready to go.
Yeah, great advice. So not only showing like, improving your branding and how you present yourself and stuff like that, like you mentioned, but also like showing that you are ready to like whatever it takes to, sell their property. Yeah, great point. So what would you say are like some of the common mistakes that realtors make whenever they try to like get in the luxury market and real estate in general?
Well, I see that occasionally when I'm working with a buyer or a seller. And the first thing that I do when I get either a contract or I'm writing, I'm working with an agent, is I go look them up. So I kind of know what their level is and what I need to do to work through the process with them. So having done this for 18 years now, I know most of the newer agent or the older agents, but the newer agents, if someone comes in and they're a newer agent, let's just say a lot of times the newer agents will pick up luxury buyers off Zillow or other lead sources, but they don't know the property. They haven't done any of their research. They jump in the car with the lead. The lead calls them and said, hey, I want to go to this property and take a look. And I was a new agent once. What we do is we jump in the car and we get in front of the client as fast as possible, and we don't do any of our homework. And with these luxury homes, you show up with a client at a luxury home, you haven't read any of the remarks, any of the amenity sheets, maybe even gone and hopefully previewed the property. You're just not prepared. So that's like the very first step of maybe educating agents. Like, do your homework in the very beginning, even whether you're working with a buyer or working with a seller. And there's tricks with the sellers as well, things that you can do to really educate yourself so that you know what you're walking into and how they want to be treated, and maybe what their past experiences are, so you can work through that.
Yeah, can you share a bit of some tips for like the sellers, how to like
Yes.
actually be prepared?
Yeah. So when I go to a listing appointment, I used to know everybody in my town. Now I don't know everyone in my town. So someone will call in, they'll want to list a home. The first thing that I do is I look up the property, I look up the tax information, I look up the history, any past history on the property. I mean, this all sounds relatively elementary, but you would be surprised that most people just go to the home and show up for the listing or run in comps and whatnot. But understanding the home, understanding, maybe what updates were done throughout the years, how long that they've owned it. And then the next thing that I do is I go in and everything's public information. So I go research the sellers. I try to find common threads that I may have with the sellers, or ways that, maybe personality types, understand how to better relate to them. Then I'm going into that listing appointment, thinking I have a pretty good knowledge base of what the sellers are about. And then also the home, the neighborhood, the CCNRs, any additions that have been done to the house. Just really, really over prepared. That will create success whether you're a new agent or a luxury agent.
For sure. Yeah, I can see how that's definitely crucial, because like walking into the listing appointment or like, to the actual seller, you feel way more confident because like
it helps so much.
Research, right?
Yes.
One thing that we've done as well with a lot of our clients is like before the listing appointment, like they research the client online on social media, and then they can see like how they are. They see they have like 2 kids, their activities and stuff like that. So like you said, you find common ground, and then after that, you can like bring that up when you actually meet them to build rapport.
It's so helpful.
Yeah. So let's say I want to establish like relationships with higher end clients. Do you have any ideas of like where to start? How can I do so?
The higher end clients, if you're a new agent going into a new area, for example, let's just say like I picked up and I moved into a new town, and I've got my experience and I want to go into a luxury market. I'm going to go be in front of as many people that would fit that demographic as possible. So for example, this is very hypothetical, but let's just say like in my town where I live during COVID, so many people were coming my way. And if I had just moved here and wanted to get business, I would go find the restaurant that they were at, or a country club, or even a coffee shop where people were, and try to make as many, what if you just make one connection a day and you're in a different place in 5 days, you have 5 connections. And those 5 connections, after talking to you, will be able to, kind of get the word out. And I've seen a lot of new agents come in and do that. If you've been in the business, you obviously have your past clients and you've got your circles that you travel in. And so you work through those circles, and that's kind of that's how I've built my business.
Yeah, bit by bit, just like connecting with people. Yeah, I love
Just
it.
knocking it out, chipping it out one little bit at a time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's super important to have like you said, like just one a day, right? Or like something like that, where like you set a goal that's realistic, but then you stay
Yes.
consistent with it. Over time, it starts to compound, more and more connection get built that way. So in terms of on the flip side, like let's say in your experience, what are like some key factors that luxury home buyers are actually looking for in a property? And how can like real estate agents effectively highlight these features in their marketing efforts?
It really depends. I think it depends on the market. So if you're in a big city, you're selling, penthouses and things within the big city. I'm in more of a suburban area. So let's use my area, for example. I've really got to go in and qualify, because even though my area is small, there's four definitive different areas of the town. So I kind of define where they want to live, what their lifestyle is like, what they want to be near. And then feature wise, if a lot of people are looking for obviously the kitchen and the master bedroom, amenities within the home, anything that's special about the home that sets the home apart is extremely important. All the homes have bedrooms, all of them have bathrooms, most of them have, quartz or granite, but anything that actually will set the home apart, whether it's like a mechanical, it's a new roof, it's, an oversized pantry, it's this, infinity pool, really get into the descriptions of those special things that are about the home. Anything that sets it apart and makes it really unique and really special is what as a listing agent, is what I really try to really focus and impress on.
Makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for sharing, Ali. Basically, awesome interview. Love the content that you shared with us. Can you share with people, like, where can people find you online if they want to reach out, learn more about what you do, or even like hire you as their agent?
Let's see. My website is aleimerrill.com. And I also have a YouTube channel that is Alei Merrill as well.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was great.